Once again, it's time for the Mythbusters to test another lethal legend.
Killer quicksand. Is that why I'm standing here in this stupid pith helmet?
No, you're standing there in a stupid pith helmet because you're an idiot. The myth on this one is not whether quicksand...
Back to the myth of killer quicksand.
I'm pretty sure it's going to work. It's just a question of how well, because while I know that we can sink in there, I don't know how fast we're going to get it. The ideal would be to...
The Mythbusters killer quicksand rig is almost ready.
Push up, push up.
My foot was stuck under it, sorry.
Well, you know, we make this stuff up as we go, and it's always surprising when it actually works like we thought it would, and that's kind of the way this looks like it's doing. Everything's coming together relatively quick.
We've all seen it on the big screen, but can quicksand really kill? The Mythbusters are about to find out.
We have several escape techniques. First and foremost, we have what everyone would want if they were near quicksand, is a vine. Secondly, we have a walking stick, which is often recommended in the literature we've read about quicksand as a helpful tool for getting out of quicksand. And third is a bar, which we can throw across the top of the tank, which I should be able to hold on to in case I get really desperate. And at that point, I'll be making those sounds that you just don't make when you're kidding.
Worst case scenario is that Adam dies. And, of course, we don't want to see that happen. I'd hate to have to hunt for another co-host. You know, we've got all the precautions that we can think of reasonably to have on this, and I'm fairly sure that he'll be okay one way or another.
The pith helmet is always a good technique for finding someone who is drowned in quicksand, because it will be floating on the surface there. Oh, look, it's a white sandy beach. I don't feel any danger at all.
Time to stir things up. The pump is switched on, and water begins to rise through the sand. As liquefaction occurs, Adam gets that sinking feeling.
You know, it feels more dangerous now than I thought. Whoa! Woo, that's cold! Well, I started going down really slowly, and then when the water got up to my chest in the sand and water mixture, I kind of felt where I hit my buoyant point, which is just probably right about here. Now we've turned the pump off, and I'll tell you, I'm not going to be able to get back out of here until we turn the pump back on.
Adam is far less dense than the quicksand, thus he's suspended.
I think we've created a very realistic scenario for a worst-case scenario quicksand. We're using incredibly fine sand, usually called sugar sand. We've got water bubbling up through it like an artesian well, and you know, when we get it working, we definitely go down in it.
I got one leg almost.
This vine is great. Oh my God.
Next, it's Jamie's turn in the tank.
That's amazing. This is just so buoyant. I'm totally floating here. And I'm not touching the bottom, so that, look at the buoyancy on that. I'm like a piece of styrofoam in here.
This is more fun than just being loud. All right, what is our final verdict on movie-style killer quicksand?
Well, we know that people and even animals have died in quicksand, but it's usually because of exposure of some sort, like dehydration. You know, they were no longer capable of extracting themselves, so they stayed there till they died.
And the elements got to them. So it's not really like the quicksand dragged them under slowly like we see in the movies and then drowned them.
No, in fact, you're quite buoyant because the quicksand is sort of a mixture of sand and water that's actually quite heavy, and you float like a cork on it. The best thing you can do is just lay on your back, and you're going to bob around fairly high up in it, and then, of course, use the vine or the walking stick or whatever happens to be handy to try and gently pull yourself out of it.
So the Mythbusters' final word on Hollywood-style killer quicksand: confirmed, plausible, or busted?
Surprised you even have to ask. It's absolutely busted. No such thing.
I agree. Completely busted.
The Mythbusters bury another one. Killer quicksand is busted.